Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Certainly. In modern JavaScript, handling asynchronous operations effectively is crucial for performance and user experience. The async and await syntax, introduced in ES 2017, ES8, provides a more readable way to work with promises. In this tutorial, we'll explore how to master async and await, with a focus on concurrency. Understanding async/await. 1. Async functions. An async function is a function declared with the async keyword. It always returns a promise, and within the function, you can use the await keyword to pause execution until a promise resolves. 2. Await. The await keyword can only be used inside async functions. It makes JavaScript wait until the promise is resolved or rejected. If the promise is resolved, it returns the result. If it's rejected, it throws an error. Basic example. Concurrency with async/await. While async/await is great for sequential operations, sometimes you want to run multiple asynchronous tasks concurrently. For this, you can use promise.all to execute multiple promises at the same time. Example of concurrent execution. Let's say we have multiple tasks that take some time to complete. Error handling. When using promise.all, if any of the promises reject, the entire operation fails. To handle errors gracefully, you might want to wrap the calls in a try-catch block or use promise.all settled, to get results regardless of the outcome. Example with error handling. Sequential versus concurrent execution. Sometimes, you might have tasks that depend on each other and need to be executed sequentially. Here's how you can manage both sequential and concurrent executions. Example of sequential execution. Best practices. 1. Avoid blocking calls. When using await, avoid making calls that depend on the results of previous calls unless necessary. Instead, try to initiate all possible concurrent calls first. 2. Use try/catch for error handling. Always wrap your async calls in try/catch blocks to handle possible errors. 3. Limit concurrent execution. If you are dealing with a large number of concurrent requests, consider using libraries like plimit or implementing your own concurrency control to prevent overwhelming the server. 4. Clear code structure. Keep your code clean and modular. Use functions to encapsulate functionality, which makes it easier to read and maintain. Conclusion. Mastering async and await with concurrency is an essential skill for modern JavaScript development. By understanding how to execute multiple tasks concurrently and handle errors effectively, you can create efficient and responsive applications. Remember to balance concurrent and sequential executions based on your specific use case to optimize performance. Happy coding! Certainly. In modern JavaScript, especially in Node.js and browser environments, asynchronous programming is a crucial aspect of building efficient applications. The async and await keywords simplify working with promises and allow for more readable and maintainable asynchronous code. This tutorial will guide you through mastering async/await, focusing on concurrency. What are async and await? Async. This keyword is used to declare a function as asynchronous. It means that the function will return a promise, and within that function, you can use await. Await. This keyword is used to pause the execution of an async function, waiting for a promise to resolve or reject. It can only be used inside async functions. Basic structure. Here's a simple example demonstrating how to use async and await. Concurrency with promise.all. When you want to run multiple asynchronous operations concurrently, you can use promise.all. This method takes an array of promises and returns a single promise that resolves when all the promises in the array have resolved. Example of concurrent operations. Consider the following example. Error handling with try/catch. When dealing with asynchronous operations, it's important to handle errors properly. You can use try/catch blocks within async functions to catch errors from await. Example with error handling. Sequential versus concurrent execution. You can choose between executing promises sequentially or concurrently. Sequential execution can be done by awaiting each promise one after the other. Here's how. Example of sequential execution. Conclusion. Mastering async and await along with concurrency can greatly enhance the performance and readability of your JavaScript code. Here are some key takeaways. Use async to define an asynchronous function. Use await to pause execution until a promise resolves. Use promise.all for concurrent execution of multiple asynchronous operations. Handle errors gracefully using try/catch. By practicing these concepts, you'll be well on your way to becoming proficient in managing asynchronous operations in JavaScript.